When you limit eating to one deliberate window, commonly known as OMAD, or one meal a day, you are not depriving your body. You are activating a switch most people never access. Picture a warehouse where supply trucks arrive without pause. This content is for educational purposes and describes physiological processes observed in research. Individual responses vary. The supervisor is overwhelmed. Boxes stack up and block exits. The ceiling leaks because repairs never happen. This is not just a story. This is your body eating 3 times daily. Now imagine what changes when the doors close and the trucks finally stop. For the first time in a long while, the cleanup crew gets to work. Today, we're focusing only on the physiology of what happens when you stop eating. We'll move through the full 23-hour process, step by step, so you can see exactly why waiting for that single meal could be one of the most powerful health choices you make. Let's start the timer. Hours 0 to 4 begin the instant you put your fork down after your last bite. During the first 4 hours, you feel full. Energy is abundant. Your stomach is active, breaking proteins into amino acids and converting carbohydrates into glucose. That glucose enters the bloodstream, prompting the pancreas to release insulin. Insulin is the main driver here. Think of it as a one-way gate. When insulin levels are high, energy moves into cells, but it cannot move back out. As long as insulin circulates, fat cells stay sealed shut. Burning body fat cannot happen in this phase. It is biologically blocked. During these first hours, your body focuses on immediate fuel. It uses what's already in the blood. Any extra, and there is almost always extra in a modern diet, is taken by insulin and stored in the liver and muscles as glycogen. Think of glycogen as your wallet. It's quick money. Easy to spend, but limited. You feel fine here. This state is familiar. But nothing remarkable has occurred yet. Now we enter hours 4 through 12. This is the stretch where most people quit. Around hour 6 or 8, blood sugar levels begin to stabilize. The surge of energy from your meal has faded. The warehouse grows quiet. Insulin, the overworked manager, starts to step away. This is when your brain sends a message. The quick cash in the wallet is running low. That signal comes from ghrelin, the hunger hormone, and it rises sharply. You feel your stomach growl. You may feel irritable. This is the moment most people confuse with starvation. They think something is wrong. They feel shaky. They believe they must eat. But this isn't starvation. It's dependence on easy fuel. Your body is like a car that has only ever used premium gas, and now it's being asked to switch to its backup power source. It hesitates. If you push past this point, something important happens. Your liver recognizes that no new food is arriving. So it opens the glycogen wallet. Stored sugars are released to keep blood glucose steady. You are not losing muscle. You are not in danger. You are simply spending energy you already saved. Now we approach the 12-hour mark. At this stage, glycogen reserves, that easy cash, are falling toward critically low levels. At this point, the body faces a decision. It can slow everything down, or it can open the vault. Because you are built for survival, capable of going days without food, your body chooses to unlock it. Insulin drops to its lowest resting level. This is the signal your internal chemistry has been waiting for. With insulin no longer blocking the process, the enzyme hormone-sensitive lipase turns on. This enzyme acts as the key to your fat stores. For the first time in days, sometimes weeks, your body begins pulling energy efficiently from adipose tissue. You are no longer powered by yesterday's bagel. You are powered by yourself. Hours 14 to 16. The fuel switch phase. Between hour 14 and 16, the fasting experience shifts completely. Hunger usually fades away. Why? Because your fuel source is no longer unstable. When food is the primary fuel, energy rises and crashes. When fat becomes the fuel, energy smooths out into a steady line. Even lean bodies carry tens of thousands of calories in stored fat. That reserve can power you for weeks. As fat breaks down, the liver converts fatty acids into ketones. This step is essential for the brain. The brain cannot use fat directly. It runs on glucose or ketones. And it turns out, ketones are a preferred fuel. Ketones are a high-performance energy source. They burn cleaner than glucose. When glucose is burned, it creates metabolic exhaust, known as oxidative stress. Ketones produce more energy with far less waste. This is why, around hour 16, many people feel a noticeable lift. Mental fog clears. Focus sharpens. Fatigue disappears. You feel charged. This fits perfectly with evolution. A hungry human who became slow and unfocused would never catch prey. They would not survive. Hunger sharpens the mind. It creates hunters. Hours 16 to 18. This is the most critical phase of the entire cycle. It's why so many researchers focus on this window. Autophagy. Remember the warehouse from earlier. The one that never had time to be cleaned. By hour 18, it has been empty for a while. The manager looks around and sees a problem. He needs raw materials to keep operations running, but no new trucks are arriving. So he orders the crew to start scavenging. They search the warehouse for broken shelves, corroded pipes, and discarded debris. They break it down and recycle it into strong, usable steel. Inside your body, cells begin seeking out damaged proteins. They target worn-out mitochondria, the tiny power plants that no longer work properly. They identify misfolded proteins that could one day contribute to diseases like Alzheimer's. They even detect viruses and bacteria hiding inside cells. Your body wraps this waste in a membrane, dissolves it, and recycles it into clean, usable amino acids. This process is autophagy. It literally means self-eating. It is your body's built-in recycling system. This process is the closest thing we have to a fountain of youth. It is deep repair at the cellular level. When you eat non-stop, autophagy never activates. The cleanup crew never shows up. By fasting to hour 18 and beyond, you give your body the chance to clear out the waste. This is why skin often starts to improve. This is also why lingering aches and old injuries may begin to ease. You are finally removing the buildup. Now we move into hours 20 to 22. This is where skeptics usually push back. They ask, if the body is breaking itself down, doesn't that mean it's destroying muscle? This is the most common myth, and it's backwards physiologically. Around hour 20, deep into the fast, your body releases a protective hormone. Human growth hormone, or HGH. Research shows that fasting can raise HGH levels by 1,300 to 2,000% or more. HGH preserves muscle. It acts like a protective barrier around your lean tissue. It sends a clear instruction. Burn fat. Leave muscle alone. Muscle is essential for survival. Your body knows exactly what it's doing. It will not burn muscle, the furniture of the house, when there is a full shed of firewood sitting outside. That firewood is body fat. Fat is burned first. This rare pairing of high HGH and low insulin is almost never seen outside of fasting. It creates the ideal environment to maintain muscle while shedding fat efficiently. Now we reach hour 23. Your eating window is approaching. Your body is fully prepared. Insulin sensitivity is extremely high. Think of your cells like a sponge. A sponge that's already soaked can't absorb more water. That's a cell that's been fed all day. But a dry sponge, a fasted cell, is ready to soak everything up. Your digestive system has rested for 23 hours. Inflammation along the gut lining has had time to calm. Harmful bacteria that thrive on constant sugar have been pushed back, while resilient beneficial bacteria remain. You are running on pure fat. Your brain is powered by ketones. Your cells have recycled their waste. Growth hormone is near its peak. You are not depleted. You are optimized. Now the clock hits hour 23. It's time to eat. This is where many people make mistakes. Because your system is so receptive right now, what you eat matters more than ever. This meal is not a reward for suffering. It is raw material for rebuilding. If you break a 23-hour fast with pizza and soda, you overwhelm a sensitive system with junk. You will crash hard. Blood sugar will spike, insulin will surge, and fatigue and bloating will follow. You need to continue the logic of the fast. Step 1 is the foundation. Begin with protein. High-quality protein. Steak. Eggs. Salmon. Chicken. Your body needs amino acids to rebuild the structures broken down during autophagy. This is where muscle repair takes place. Step 2 is fuel. Add healthy fats. Avocados. Olive oil. Butter. Nuts. Since your metabolism is already burning fat, eating fat keeps that machinery running smoothly and keeps insulin controlled. Step 3 is micronutrients. You need volume. With one meal a day, small snacks won't cover your mineral needs. You need a large amount of vegetables. Leafy greens. Cruciferous vegetables. Fermented foods like sauerkraut. These provide the minerals that prevent cramps and fatigue. When you eat this way, nutrient-dense and highly satisfying, something surprising happens. You feel full quickly. Hormones like leptin, which signals fullness, and ghrelin, which signals hunger, finally communicate properly. You stop eating when you're nourished, not when you're stuffed. Now, the adaptation phase. Let's be honest. If you go from 6 meals a day straight to 1 meal tomorrow, it's going to feel rough. Your body needs time to build the systems required to burn fat efficiently. Enzymes must be produced. The liver must learn to generate ketones effectively. This process is called metabolic flexibility. During the first week, you may experience headaches. You may feel weak. This isn't because the approach is harmful. It's because your body is in withdrawal. You're flushing out electrolytes. The solution is simple. Salt. When insulin drops, your kidneys release water and sodium. You have to replace it. A small pinch of sea salt in your water during the fast can stop headaches almost immediately. Take it slow. Start by pushing breakfast back 2 hours. Then 4. Then remove it completely. Next, push lunch later. Let your body adapt gradually. Don't jump straight into the deep end. Fasting is also a form of stress. If you're already under high stress, sleeping poorly, or dealing with thyroid issues, a 23-hour fast can raise cortisol. In those cases, avoid it. This protocol is intended for healthy adults. Do not attempt it if you are pregnant, breastfeeding, have a history of eating disorders, or take medication for diabetes or blood pressure without speaking to a doctor. We live in a food environment that works against our biology and teaches us to fear hunger. But hunger is not an emergency. It's a signal you can learn to manage. Beyond fat loss and time saved, OMAD gives you freedom.